We'll now be hearing from Fagura, who are aiming to build the first digital bank in the Central and Eastern Europe region for anyone to borrow, invest and transfer money easily. Today we have Cristian pitching, so over to you.
Thanks a lot, Jess. Thanks for inviting us, and well done to Zach for breaking the ice and having such a wonderful presentation. So I'm Cristian. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Fagura. And before I jump into it, I would like to share some figures with you. Now, there are 25 million Europeans who reside in Europe and still are away from home. Collectively, they send back 50 billion euros on a yearly basis. And on top of that, there is a shortfall in SME lending, estimated to be 100 billion euros. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, because essentially at Fagura, we are trying to address these markets, and we are building the community digital bank for the people in the diaspora to be able to transfer money back home, be it friends, relatives, family, but also invest in the ecosystems that are relevant to them. So companies that try to build something in their local economies and are very unique to that particular region. Now, we started small in 2019 in a country in Eastern Europe, in Moldova. A lot of you might not even be familiar with that country. And we built a credit scoring algorithm that we deployed in our crowd lending platform. And in time, we realized that despite the fact that our business was growing and we intermediated over 2 million euros on our platform, giving 15% in returns to our investors, we needed something more. And by talking to our clients, we realized that something more was the capability of offering transfers and payments. At this present time, we make money by commissioning borrowers whenever they take a loan from Fagura. We commission the investors for servicing their portfolios. And we also developed a secondary market where people can sell their loans, and we can commission that as well. Now, the way we're going to go after the clients in the market is by deploying a very strong referral program. And we have the advantage and the disadvantage of having a big diaspora from Moldova and Romania living in the European Union and the UK. So there are 5.5 million citizens in total. We're gonna build upon our strong brand recognition in Moldova, and we're gonna deploy our API into third-party platforms for embedded finance purposes. Now, obviously, there are other companies that fight for this market. On one hand, we have the marketplaces like Mintos and Estate Guru, to name just a few. And on the other hand, we have digital banks that offer transactional sort of services for either FX conversions and transfers, like Revolut, like Zopa in the UK. What our unique proposition is different, because we are focusing on the expat community by offering them services that are very, very relevant to them. We have a team that has managed 5 business exits already. We employ people from Bloomberg, PwC, Indava in the UK, and we are planning to become, forecasting to become profitable by 2025. And the money we're currently raising on Seedrs will be used to add digital banking services like IBANs, credit cards, debit cards to our existing platform, to our crowd lending platform, and to scale in Europe and later on in the UK. So if this is interesting, please join our campaign or ask me any questions if you like. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Cristian. To start off, can we, I believe this is not your first crowdfunding campaign on Seedrs. Can we talk about what's happened in between those two and why this is such a successful way for you to raise investment for your brand?
So I think, we, it's funny because one of your alumni companies, Revolut, I was at the level 39 yesterday, where they were an alumni, and then they were an alumni for Seedrs, and now here we are, Seedrs and level 39. We're not currently there, but we're planning to do it in the foreseeable future. So Seedrs has been a very good platform to us, and I think we are one of the first, if not the first company that has active business in Moldova that raised on Seedrs. And the exposure we've gained has been very good for us, both in the UK market, but also within our own community. We did a campaign in 2021, oversubscribed by 170%. We raised money back then to expand into Romania, which we did. We applied for the financial authority in Romania to be registered as a crowdfunding company. Still in the process of being analyzed, but at least we've done our bit with the lawyers and all the technical parties involved. We launched our mobile apps for investors, both on Android and iOS. We grew 4 times since we did our campaign last year. And yeah, now the plan was kind of like built more around, having a broader ecosystem and offering, these financial services on top of the alternative investment platform. Hence the reason we're back on Seedrs, and we are very happy to see that the campaign has good traction.
Yeah, brilliant. And there's some fantastic stats in there around your growth in just 1 year, which is fantastic to see. Talking about your customers, how have you generated them so far? What have been your successful sales strategies in getting in front of your target market?
So we have 2 customers two sides that we are addressing. On one hand, we have borrowers, and currently we are only allowed to issue loans in Moldova, because that's where we are licensed to do so. In the process of getting the authorization in Romania, which will help us do that in the whole of Europe. So because our business is fully online, we compete with banks and the micro lenders. We are slightly more expensive than the banks, but we are offering a better service, a quick service, no bureaucracy, easy to get a loan. And we are way cheaper than the micro lenders in Moldova. And just to give you some figures, on average, our rates are 20-25% on euro loans, and that compares to like hundreds of percent granted by the micro lenders. So it's a very aggressive market out there. Obviously, the situation might be slightly different in Europe, but there's still like a big margin that we can give to our investors or lenders. And on the investor side, we started with a strong, as I was mentioning, a strong diaspora, and then it just like rolled as a snowball effect. People who were investing in loans on Fagura came into the crowdfunding campaign on Seedrs, so now some of them are shareholders. And what's amazing to see is the fact that people are benefiting from the whole ecosystem. So some shareholders by Seedrs are also investors in loans, and it happened that they also took loans on Fagura because it was so easy and so quick to do. So it's this community that we're really like leveraging, and it attracts more and more people from outside of the Moldovan and the Romanian diaspora. So people like from the UK, Italy, Germany, and that's fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned the word community, because that is the key to successful growth, in my opinion, for a brand, is having those loyal customers that want to come back to you time and time again. And then in terms of partnerships, I know it mentions you're talking to banking partners on your campaign page. How important do you see that as part of your growth strategy?
It's very important, because it's going to be we're going to go to market way faster as opposed to getting licensed. I mean, as you might know, fintech is highly regulated, and financial services are in general. So for a quick go-to-market approach, we will be partnering with banking as a service platforms. Without giving any names, there are quite a few in the UK. There are quite a few strong ones in Germany, and then in Europe as a whole. So with those partners, we can basically we don't have to get authorized ourselves. We can leverage their licensing. And on top of that, they have APIs for pretty much every product that you could think of. So they don't do business on their own. All they do is they give APIs to fintechs like Fagura and like others. And essentially, if you want a bank account, issue bank accounts, here's an API. If you want to have a wallet, here's an API. If you want to do cryptocurrencies, here's an API. So that's why we chose that route. It's cheaper, it's faster, and it will help us test the concept quicker and go to market way more efficiently.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And so far, what's been your proudest achievement with Fagura?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think it's, I mean, it might sound cliche, but it's actually true. Is the people that we managed to attract into our business. I mean, you should bear in mind that there's a war in Ukraine, and we are borders with Ukraine, and it's tough. It's not easy. I mean, raising money is not easy. Having people switch jobs from corporations and coming to work to Fagura is not easy. We did manage to attract some colleagues from a bank in Moldova. So, the proposition is there, the mission is there. So not easy, but we still managed to attract people of experience and people that make a difference in Fagura. And obviously, the more we go west, it'll become a bit more easy, because it'll mean we have traction, we have more markets in our portfolio, and we have a greater visibility. So, but yeah, that's also why Seedrs was a partner we didn't question at all at any stage. So yeah, thank you for having us.
No, thank you, and congratulations on your success so far. I'm so excited to watch what happens after the Seedrs space. Watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Jess. If there are any other questions, I'll be staying here, so I'll be happy to reply on the chat.